Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the It Doesn't Matter podcast. We've got myself, Manchester Fox. We've got BDC Crumpets. And we've got the British Bulldog. Boo. All right. We are covering my pick for the month of June. We're covering a live event from WCW, World Championship Wrestling, and it took place in Manchester, England in March of 1993. Very particular and curious time in the world of professional wrestling. But Dom, what do we got going on with this WCW live event from Manchester, England?
All right, so is this the first WCW show that took place in the United Kingdom?
I don't know.
Oh, all right. Well, just curious. Well, the show kicks off by, some reporters asking the fans, like, who are their favorites and what show do you prefer? Do you prefer WCW or do you prefer the WWF? And then tickets are sold out in 3.5 months before the show even took place. So this card could have been trash and tickets are sold out. So
sounds like the first one to me.
Yeah, it was pretty unique. They had a big computer paper print sign that says, Arn Anderson's God. Arn Anderson's not even this card. What a waste of paper.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wait, he wasn't? Oh, my God.
No. Not at all.
I did watch the show.
Not at all.
He wasn't even on the card. So, all right. So the show takes place in Manchester, England, United Kingdom, the home of the British Bulldog. And we got Gary Michael Capetta on commentary. Oh, no. Excuse me. He's a ring announcer. We don't have any commentators. This is a live show. This is a...
Too hot for television.
It wasn't televised, but obviously we're watching it.
Yeah.
But GMC, he announced that there's 2 brand new champions to let the people know what's going on. That Barry Windham defeated the Great Muta to be the new NWA champion.
Yep.
And Big Van Vader, he lost the title to the man they call Sting. Then he makes an announcement of all the matches taking place tonight. And you know what? I like this. I actually prefer a non-televised show than a TV show because you got all the cameras and all that. Because you're going to get a good quality wrestling match that these guys are practicing for the PLE, just playing around. Because I went to Bridgeport one night, I seen Chris Jericho fight, I think Fandango, and they was getting the kinks out. Then literally the next night, I went to Providence. Them 2 fought again. Same damn match. Okay, they just trying. All right, well, it is what it is. But
yeah,
this show was pretty interesting. So, all right, like I said, no commentators. You guys want to tune into the show? Look up WCW in England, and you'll definitely see it. So, our opening match, we have Scottie Flamingo taking on Johnny B. Bad. BDC, who is Scottie Flamingo?
My friends, he is Raven. He is Raven from ECW.
This is true. This is Raven. This is a complete 180 from what you know as the Raven character.
Right.
This is a baby Raven because Raven was into the future by a couple of years, So this is just Scottie Flamingo in his formative years, but much like WCW at this period of time, maybe that is why inside my own head it's such a unique time because anyone of note in pro wrestling by the end of the decade was in WCW in the beginning of the decade. Mean Mark Callis, the man who would have a 30-year plus career in the WWE, he started in WCW, How about Steve Austin, Stunning Steve Austin, Cactus Jack, as we'll come to see, WCW was loaded with potential at this time, and they just didn't know what to do with it. And we know how history goes. They became megastars, but as of right now, in March of 1993, they were anything but major stars, just like this opening match here, Dom.
Pretty much.
What the hell is going on my damn microphone tonight?
I'll cover you, pal. I got you, dog.
I don't know what's going on. But anyway, strap facts. Oh, Lord. After seeing Scottie Flamingo, it makes me want to contact Raven and get that interview because I'm curious to see. I would like to know how this formation changed because we know he went from Scottie Flamingo to Johnny Polo in the WWF.
Yep.
And then he went to ECW and became Raven. Like, I want to know what the hell happened. Because he looks rough right now.
It looks like he got dumped, Dom. If you've ever been in a relationship and something bad's happened to that relationship, you get real depressed, my friend. And you ain't getting more depressed than Raven in ECW. As for Mr. The real guy himself, Scott Levi, I watched, he had a series. He was in Ring of Honor a little bit in its early days, and he did a bunch of shoot interviews called Secrets of the Ring, a DVD series for Ring of Honor, and I watched all of them. I think there are 4 or 5 of them, 5 volumes on teaching you, his version of how to enter the pro wrestling industry. And I mean, all I can remember is that they were obviously very interesting, very fascinating, and he was a lot of insight, and not all shoot interviews are the same. For example, I mean, Ron Simmons is a favorite on this podcast, but I'll tell you why his shoot interview was terrible in my opinion. There's high spots, RF video, whatever you can find. That one was a bad one. And the ones I liked was like Ric Flair. He had a high spots, like it was like 6 DVDs or something like that. A shoot interview with high spots. I like the ones with him in it. He did a few with Roddy Piper and some with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and X-Pac. Those are always fun to watch. But Raven, I don't know how anyone would find him today. But Secrets of the Ring with Raven from the Ring of Honor straight shooting series. If you can find them, they are very entertaining. So that's you can live vicariously through those shoot interviews, Dom.
Well, I know he was really.
Oh boy.
Oh Lord, it's gonna be one of them nights. Well, I know he's supposed to have like a new documentary that's supposed to come out this past year. I'm not sure what happened to it. I seen the trailer, and it looked pretty interesting. But anyways, let's get to this match before my microphone cut out again. He's going against Johnny B. Bad, and my God.
Yep.
There's a lot of Gaga in this match. A lot of house show shenanigans, if you will. I forget exactly, but the fake hair pull and this and that, all these weird stuff that works in attendance, works with children and some fun adults. Does it play well on camera as TV wrestling? No, of course not. This is a live event. It's a house show. It's an opening match. Even for an opening match, I personally thought it was
okay.
We love hot opening matches on any show, any pay-per-view, any TV show. We love hot opening matches. This was not one of them. It was WCW. WCW has a different style, and that's okay. It's okay to have a different style. But I just thought they went way too long for an opening match. Wasn't really making the crowd salivate. But if the purpose of the live event is to get your wrestlers out there, to get them more experience, to be in front of a live crowd, awesome. But the match itself was fine. It just wasn't a spectacular opening match. Yes,
I'll agree with what my man Manchester John Lee, and basically it was a long opening match. Johnny B. Bad, he's out there. This is the UK first time seeing him. He's definitely representing Pride Month. But Johnny started off the show hot. Scottie got some offense, and it was some good competition. But long story short, Johnny got the win with a kiss that don't miss.
But
both clocked him, and that was it.
What a name and what a finish. It's just he has, Mark Maron has a Golden Gloves boxing background, and he fortunately implemented that into the character of Johnny B. Bad. And oh baby, the kiss that don't miss. Cold cocked him right there. Booyah! And
yeah. All right. Our next match, we have Michael P.S. Hayes taking on Max Payne. My God, this is a random pairing for a match. That's what I thought. And at first, I didn't know who was the heel in this match. And then Michael Hayes, he just, he's toying with the crowd. He's like stomping his feet, getting the crowd all hyped up. And you can tell this is a live show. Both guys, they playing to the crowd, flexing on them. And yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Man, it's crazy seeing Max Payne because I want to keep calling him Mad Mountain Rock. That's all I want to keep calling him.
Yeah.
It's sad. I remember him as Max Payne, but I know his WWF gimmick was
Mad Mountain Rock.
Oof. But basically, this whole match, Max Payne was using his size advantage to take down the Freebird, Michael P.S. Hayes. And every single time Michael would get a little offense, Max keep countering and bring it to him. And then the finish of the match, Max won the match with a damn armbar. Caught me off guard. I did not see that happen. I thought Michael P.S. Hayes was going to get the win, but that was that. BDC, what are your thoughts on this match?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, very well said.
Thank you.
I'll save you, buddy.
Nothing. Look, nothing to save. The match didn't really hold it for me. It was cool to see Michael P.S. Hayes in the ring. People remember him as Doc Hendricks. People forget that he had a pretty lengthy career as one of the fabulous Freebirds. So it was nice to see him in the ring again wrestling. But ultimately, it basically the match lumbered. It just lumbered along, and I was not intrigued by this match at all. So
you just know.
So as such, yeah.
Before John gets into his thoughts on this match, was it kind of difficult for you guys to watch this show with no commentary?
Actually, not having the commentary actually helped this time around. And to me, it helped because I was just imagining what the commentary would be, and it would be a case of me saying, okay, the commentary's not saving this. So not having it actually benefited them this time around.
Because you had to pay attention.
You had to pay attention, one, and number two, it's like there was nothing really anecdotal that the commentary could have offered these matches because the matches in and of themselves weren't really commentary worthy anyway.
I would say that I chose the show, so I feel responsible a little bit for anyone who's going to watch it. So I'm thinking that's why I even texted the guys. I'm like, this show doesn't have any commentary. Just so you're warned, if you're gonna watch it, you'll be like, "What the? Why it doesn't have commentary? That stinks."
Yeah.
And my defense would be like, "Well, hey, you've gone to the arena, haven't you?
Right.
They don't do commentary live, so what's the difference?" And there's a couple ways you can look at it. You can create the commentary in your mind. You are making the story in your own head. If you're an uncreative person, then all you hear is crickets. And you're not fine. Right. That's okay. Not everyone can be a creative mind. They are good at something. We just don't know what that thing is. But not having it's a little jarring for some people who might check out the show. So it should come with a warning in that sense. After when I found out it was without commentary, I thought, we should have saved this for like a live podcast or something, because then we could just play it loud and then talk over it, and it's like we're doing
commentary,
play-by-play and stuff. Yeah. So it works both ways. There's pluses and there's minuses to it. So, but don't let it deter you, please.
Yeah, and I will say this: if you're somebody who is enamored these days by the piped-in noises of the crowds that happen at AEW and WWE and sometimes TNA, it'll be good to watch this event just to hear that the crowd, even when they were not at like 100%, they were in it for the entire show, and it was good that you heard them throughout the entire show. It was never really any dead spots as far as the crowd was concerned, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. It's kind of sad in a way that the modern fans are just not. They're into the moments and they're into the spots of a match, but they're not really into the ebb and flow of a match.
Right.
And it's a lost art in itself. Not from the performers, because they do what they do and they're good at their job, but just from the fan perspective, I mean, they're trained to watch highlight packages. They're not trained to watch and read every word in a book, and that's just the way it is. But to BDC's point, it's a little refreshing just seeing a crowd.
Yep.
And it is a sold out crowd, and people have been waiting 3 months to get into this place, and they are having a good time. That you can say that for sure. But it's all right to get into my thoughts on the match. Well, sometimes there aren't things to say about the match. You can just say things about other things in the match, such as Michael P.S. Hayes just makes me uncomfortable. Not in a Kid Romeo kind of way, but I just don't like seeing him wrestle. You know, he's because you kind of know him as the Doc Hendricks or as the agent behind the scenes. Just to see him as a performer, it's like, I don't know.
I got one for you. How about when he was the manager of the Hardys?
Oh yeah,
with the gear on.
Good times.
Oh, Dad, stop dressing with us. I know you paid for it, but don't wear what we wear.
Right.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable. See, I was uncomfortable then too. No wonder Mark Henry hates him. You know, he just makes you uncomfortable, Doc Hendricks. But Ahmed Johnson seemed to like him, so you know, on a first name basis with the guy, Mike, Doc. But yeah, it was fun to see. It was fun to note that Michael Hayes, you know, was such an agent for such a long time. It's like, well, how was he as a performer? You could tell that he's very good in the charisma department. You know, getting the people, for sure. Getting the people behind him, showing his, you know, his smile and his and his features, and versus like, you know, the future Man Mountain Rock. I mean, I didn't really know him as Man Mountain Rock or Max Payne, and he was just, I mean, he just looked like they found him off the street, man. He wasn't very impressive in any which way. I mean, he was a good high school wrestler when I looked him up. So,
but that's a champ with Cactus Jack.
I ain't saying much. So, yeah, I think we spent more. I think the ding ding ding, the match is over. I think it's enough time spent on Max Payne and Michael P.S. Hayes.
Oh man! All right. Well, our next match we have Ravishing Rick Rude and Barry Windham taking on Dustin Rhodes and Van Hammer. When I seen Ravishing Rick Rude come out, man, he jacked.
Yeah,
still jacked.
Yeah.
Look, I prefer his WCW theme song over his WWFE theme song whatsoever. And then we see Barry Windham. And then I remember being a little bitty kid. I remember Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes, the Natural, used to be tag team partners. I'm thinking, what the hell happened with these two guys? You guys remember them two being tag team partners? Oh, I know you didn't. I know, John, I know you didn't watch WCW or wrestling at that time. But what about you, BDC?
Not really. I didn't.
I remember them too.
I didn't really kick into WCW like that until 94, I would say, because that was when we finally got cable and I was able to watch TBS. So
okay,
I didn't really know much about WCW until then.
All right, well, see, I used to go to my grandparents' house Saturday morning, 9:05 in the morning, watch WCW Saturday morning, and WCW Saturday night, 6:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Kids, 1-900-909-9900. Get your parents' permission before you make that phone call. It's 99 cents the first minute, and $1.49. That's after that first minute. I know I got my ass whipped. Anyways, Dustin Rhodes, he got his ass whipped
before he even made it to the ring.
He didn't even make it to the ring. They had to break down they had to break him up. Barry Windham with a padded steel chair. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Laid him out. Excuse me. Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Lord.
This match makes him sick.
And then Rick Rude, he's just in the ring. Then he's taking out Dustin. And then we get Van Hammer with his cowboy hat and cowboy jacket on. And Van Hammer, he's looking jacked to the gills, too. And basically, we don't have a tag match. We have a one-on-one match between Rick Rude and Van Hammer. Well, you're 94, he's 95. I'm going to say, what the hell happened with Van Hammer? I know back in the late 90s, wasn't he like in the...
He was in Raven's Flock. And that is, and literally, that is the only version of him I remember.
I remember this version, but he had a great look at this
Absolutely.
time.
Like,
they should have utilized it.
Like, he reminds me of a slightly shorter Sid Vicious.
I can see that.
Like, the dude is jacked. He had the same curled out hair. He seemed to move around the ring a little better. But like I said, I only remember the Flock version of him. I just
it's sad. I can't even say he can't talk because Sid couldn't really talk either. So, but we love Sid.
We do, absolutely.
That dummy. R.I.P.
Yep.
But yeah, he had a good look. He had a great look for this time in the early '90s.
Yeah.
And Rick Rude had the Union Jack on his trunks, and I'm back.
All eyes on me. Yep.
On me. Tupac. But yeah. So you've seen these two guys going one-on-one. All right, we might get maybe some big meaty man slapping meat, but nah, we didn't get that. They're trying to just one-up one another, sizing each other up and whatnot, and then typical Rick Rude spot. He got to show the cheeks. It was a full moon in the UK in Manchester. It was definitely a full moon every single time. And long story short, Van Hammer ran to Rick Rude in the corner. Rick Rude countered, hit him with the Rude Awakening, which is that neck breaker. And
over.
Rick Rude gets the win.
And over.
Clean. He didn't need to cheat either. Clean. Strap. Manchester strap. What's your thoughts?
Man, what an easy payday for the future Gold Dust and Mr. New NWA Champion Barry Windham.
Right.
What a house show? Come on. I mean, that's what I could think. It's like they were maybe they got an injury and they just did this to cover it up. But I'm like, geez Louise. Well, at least they made an entrance. But hey, who knows what happened there. But as for Rick Rude and Van Hammer, yeah, Rick Rude is so sad, but he's the freaking man, you know. And if Steve Austin says he's the freaking man, then he is the man. But Van Hammer, my thoughts of Van Hammer is like, I don't know, maybe he just had we don't know, I don't know, but maybe he had like a persistent drug problem and he kept coming in and out of wrestling, and WCW was kind enough to keep him with a paycheck, or he was just so terrible and got injury prone so often because he never got anywhere. I mean, WCW did that with a lot of people, but just like you said, man, this is 93. He was around in some other WCW programming I've seen, as the rock and roll, kind of like Lance Hoyt, right? The rock and rave infection.
Ow! Everybody get infected.
Jimmy Rave, Lance Rock, and Christy Hemme is the infection. But Van Hammer, he'd be around, to the Flock days, and then he was his last notable role was with the Misfits in Action, the faction led by Hugh
Rection,
General Rection, General Hugh G. Rection.
What do they call him? Just Hammer?
So Vince Russo came up with his idea to call him, because it had military theme, right? They wanted to call him Private Stash. And Van Hammer was like, no, man, that ranking's too low. I don't want to be a private. Yeah, but that's the joke. Private Stash. So they came up with Major Stash. And that was Van Hammer.
He got the drugs on him.
That was Van Hammer's end. But, when Rick Rude had the go home, kid, when he nailed that Rude Awakening, it was a very crisp Rude Awakening. Very nice. A nice finisher to end the match. So, otherwise, not very compelling.
Nah. All right. Well, after this, we have Johnny B. Bad. He's presenting an award, a fellowship award. I don't know what the hell that is. I could barely hear the woman with the volume all the way up. But, I don't know. He has some guy out there, has some kids out there, and he presented a Kiss That Don't Miss sticker. And he put it on the dude's face and chin, and oh my goodness, who does this shit?
What a waste of time. I mean, maybe they're trying to kiss up to a local politician or something like that, and it's like, if you're gonna have Johnny B. Bad come out and do this, he shouldn't have wrestled. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, did they run out of people? I mean, like, I could see why they would want him in the ring, but to get people out for a second pop, I mean, especially someone like Johnny B. Bad. I mean. Even The Rock, the night Chris Jericho debuted on Raw, okay? By the time Jericho debuted on Raw, The Rock had already been out that third time. The pop gets less and less, even at the peak of his popularity. And Johnny B. Bad, brother, you ain't no Rock. So, whatever, just another segment to kill time here on the WCW Live event. And is this when they went to intermission?
Yep.
When Mr. GMC called for intermission, I was like, are they going to play the whole intermission? No. They cut the tape. They cut the tape.
All right, well, our next match, we have Vinny Vegas taking on the hometown boy, the British Bulldog, BDC. Who is Vinny Vegas?
He is the real Diesel. He is also Oz. He is also Kevin Nash of the NWO, the Wolfpack. That dude is a legend. Him and his quads. But at this point, he was just Vinny Vegas.
Do you think Kevin Nash, not Vinny Vegas, do you think he's overrated?
Do I think Kevin Nash is overrated? I think his knees are overrated. I think his legs are overrated.
That's for sure.
I think him, I don't think he's overrated, but I do think that he does make very good use of the political system behind the scenes to really boost his profile a smidge. But yeah, I mean, he was a talented guy in the ring. He was, and anybody who says that are kidding themselves by saying he's not. He was talented in the ring. It's just like I said, he knew how to work things behind the ring. He knew how to work things behind the scenes, more so than people either give him credit for or don't want to admit.
Hey, Platino, you hear that? He's not overrated.
He can't defend himself, but he's still wrong. You want to get into this match or get the thoughts out first?
All right. Well, the Bulldog, the hometown boy, he had his same song, the W song, but it's a WCW version.
It's slower. It's slower.
It was slow. I didn't like it. Davey's still looking great. He had his SummerSlam '92 gear on. And then the bell rings, and these two guys, they start testing their strength. And then Kevin Nash or Vinny Vegas, he's playing to the crowd. They booing him. Bulldog doing the same thing. They loving him. But then Vegas had some time to shine. He was dominating the Bulldog. And then watching this match, it kind of brought back, like, damn, we're kind of watching Bulldog and Warlord. Or is it Bulldog and Warlord we've seen? We watched twice. Survivor Series 92 and this Tuesday in Texas without Warlord?
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. It was like same thing, like the same story. Basically, the big man would beat him up. He counters. He heats up. And then he gets the win.
Yep.
Kevin Nash, Vinny Vegas, he kept playing to the crowd. You had the man beat numerous times. But you run to the corner with a big elbow. You miss. Bulldog hit him with the running power slam, which is like 3 steps.
Right.
And that was it. Match over. Bulldog with the win. The crowd, the hometown crowd, they go crazy. They get what they wanted. It was a long-ass match with these two guys, I thought.
Yeah.
Strap.
The WWF version of Bulldog's theme, whatever it was, it just... I don't know. Like, what is it? Did WWF have a special version of it? It just sounded great. And every other version I've ever heard, mostly through wrestling, it was never as good. So there's something to that.
Well, I think I think the WWE theme for the Bulldog, it was fast paced. It was high. It was fast paced. It was high energy. So basically, from the time that music starts, it has that regal quality to it, but it was fast paced to kind of get you out to see, get you going. And I mean, I don't know what WCW was going for. They clearly failed at it. I don't know what they were going for though. It was just slow and deliberate, and it didn't work.
Well, I don't think they made it. I think they're just like, give me whatever their national anthem is called, Great Britannica. I don't know.
Sample number 2. Yeah. Sample number 2.
No. But whatever it was. WCW played a cassette, and WWF had a CD.
They had Jim Johnston.
I'm just saying, I don't think they made it. Anyway, but yeah, the Bulldog comes out in full regalia, and in Vinny Vegas here, I mean, he's obviously a very young Kevin Nash, and he's moving, grooving, and shaking like you've never seen Diesel do before. That's because he's not Diesel, and he's a couple of years younger.
Yep.
And his outfit, he's a tall, tall dude. He's a tall, big guy, but all I could think about was like him being like a Baron Corbin. You know, it's like that's great. You know, you're kind of a big guy. You move around well. You can see a lot of potential there. You can see probably why Shawn Michaels saw something in him and wanted to bring him over. But as for the match, you know, I don't think it was too bad. I mean, Kevin Nash obviously still kind of like a rookie, really, but I thought he did a great job. And I think the British Bulldog, I think he just got blown up, man. You talk about the finish of the match, that power slam. That wasn't a Bulldog power slam. That was a scoop slam. He went sideways. That's a fact, Jack.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he was blown up.
I mean, it looked like it, but I was like, oh man, he is blown up for real. I could see it. It's fun. It's funny to watch. But no, I was just real interested in this because I'm like, literally 2 years later, they'd be fighting for the WWF title in your house. A little over 2 years later, you know, and it's like, how time flies. You know, how much things can happen in a short amount of time. You know. So
that's funny because I was thinking, I'm like, did these dudes fight again in WWF? Yeah. I was really thinking about it. I'm glad you strapped facts with all the knowledge. I'm glad
he knows. He always knew.
They went in your house for sure. This is right after Lex Luger left, and Bulldog had to turn heel on Raw. You know, and he shaved his head, and he was with Camp Cornette. You know, all these guys, man. You know, speaking about the old wrestling figures, you know, before the show, Dom and I were looking at old Sting WCW action figures, and just the other day, I pulled out some of those Jack's WWF figures, and you know, I pulled out the ones I liked, the guys I wanted to play with. You know, so I broke out Shawn Michaels, Ahmed Johnson, the Ultimate Warrior, Vader, the Bulldog, and Psycho Sid. My favorite toys. You know,
1996 all over it, man.
That's where the international incident thing came out. I was like, hey, these are the same guys in that 6-man main event, and that's why I wanted to watch that match. And we talked a little bit about it last show. And then I was like, wait, these guys are from WCW. Vader, Bulldog, Sid, you know. So there you have it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. Bulldog and Vinny Vegas. Don thought it was a little long, probably was, but it was an interesting, thought-provoking match for me, anyway.
Does this match matter?
Absolutely not.
Spoiler alert, none of the matches on this show really matter, but can you find value? We're not going to add that to the questions at the end of the show, but can you find some value? That's from Impractical Jokers, actually. Did you learn anything of value in this presentation?
No.
But I found things to like in Vinny Vegas and Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our next match, we have Cactus Jack taking on Big Van Vader. And this wasn't the Vader theme song I'm used to in WCW.
No.
This is some like rock and roll theme song. I'm like, what the hell is this?
I was wondering I'm like, was this like Undertaker's theme when he was the biker in reverse? Because when he debuted, when he won the undisputed title from Hulk Hogan, he came out to instrumental theme, which I liked, and then the lyrics weren't ready yet. So then they transitioned to a version with a big guitar solo. I love that version. That's Big Evil Red Devil right there. And later on, they took the guitar solo out and they put in lyrics. You know, you've done it now, right? Gone and made a big mistake. You know, so for this Vader one, you know, they had a CD. They had WCW The Music, and they had Ron Simmons on it, Sting, Johnny B. Bad. They probably had a Vader one on there, and it sounded like his theme song, like around 1995, 94, and they just took the lyrics out because it was like man called Vader.
Yeah, it was definitely different. It's like, what? It was real different.
So weird. Vader's theme song brought to you by, as Don tries to look it up, Hanson.
Bop.
Vader, not by Vader.
See, this is the one I know. It wasn't this one.
No. That sounds like Lex Luger on steroids.
And that's not even the Vader. I know his WWE theme, and it is definitely not that.
We used to prank call people with that all the time. It's like, hello, it's time.
Who
is this? Don't worry, honey. It's WWF Music, the Volume 2. You are completely pathetic.
Yeah, I can't find it, but
that's all right. They sold that WCW Slam Jam CD and all the catalogs of Figures Inc. from Woonsocket, Rhode Island, all the time back then. But presumably, I don't know. But that's what I think it's from. But it sure was wacky. Kind of like Cactus Jack. His theme song was called Mr. Bang Bang.
Can't go wrong with his song. Both his songs, WCW and WWE songs, perfect. But all right, this match, you already know Cactus and Vader, they're going to be very physical. They're going to be very stiff, and they're going to bring it right to you. And Vader, he brings it right to Cactus Jack with them stiff-ass punches. I always like, he's just like a big grizzly bear with the, his arms ain't really going far, but he's definitely connected. And Foley is definitely selling whatsoever. And then it was really a fight to take the big man out. Cactus Jack had to try to choke him out with a damn sleeper. And then, typical Harley Race, the king, he got to interfere, and then Foley going to take him out. Cactus Jack going to take him out. But Vader going to continue whooping on. Cactus Jack had him in the corner. And the ref, he got knocked down. Nick Patrick is a big dude, but you know how hard it is to try to break these two dudes up? They just going at it.
Yeah.
And then we seen Vader being his agile self get on the top rope, and he does like this, the standing splash and like an avalanche took Foley out. But Foley has a lot of heart. He hit Vader with a double arm DDT. He suplexed Harley Race, but Vader gets up. Vader bomb, power bomb, whatever you want to call it, and he gets the win. I like this match. Short and sweet. But you know what match I want to see? I want to see when Foley lost his ear between them two.
You're sick.
I want to see it.
Hey, you want to see a dead body?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't sure, what kind of match this would be, but between Vader and Cactus Jack, you're going to get your money's worth here. And it was pretty short. But Vader nailing that power bomb. He broke a guy's back with that for real, for shoot.
Well,
but it was a stiff. I mean, especially the rings are what they were alleged to be, really stiff old boxing rings from back in the day. You get power bombed on that thing,
that's gonna hurt.
Ugh, nasty. Gonna hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I always amazed at how Vader never flexed his wrist when he threw punches. It's like people would be like, Vader's like, he was just throwing straight clubs at all times. That's why that should be hurting. Like, you imagine somebody just hit you like this.
Just like a damn grizzly bear. That's how he used to hit you.
He's just taking you out. No nice way to put it. Just taking you out.
You know whose punch I hated? China's. It was all forearm.
Imagine how else. I'd play with my dog the same way Vader would, play with his opponents. Just the wrists. I had a thought. I lost it, but that's okay.
Wow, bro. Wow.
Oh, man.
Just wow.
But yeah, this was a decent match. It's not one of their classics. Like I said, Foley lost the ear, and they definitely get pretty. Oh my God, what show was it? We covered the WCW show. Halloween Havoc, spin the wheel, make the deal. Them two fought, and it was weird. I think it was like not a last man standing match. It was like a falls count anywhere match. It was weird, but that shit was definitely vicious. But that's one of their better matches.
I mean, like when Vader went to the WWF and, Shawn Michaels didn't want to work with him, allegedly, it's because, aside from Shawn throwing a hissy fit when Vader would miss a spot or two during their SummerSlam match and also having really stinky gear, just his wrestling style, you just think that the guys in WCW, even at that time, were just like tougher. It's like, hey man, Flair don't complain, Sting don't complain, whoever else he wrestled, Ron Simmons and
right,
whoever, right? Goes to the WWF, Shawn Michaels, you hit too hard, man. My hair fell out. It's gonna keep falling out too. So it's like, a little pussyfooting Shawn Michaels here. But whatever. That's okay.
Did this match matter? Did you guys enjoy it?
It was all right.
Yeah, it matters.
It was all right.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Cool.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it was all right for a house show.
You won't have a bad time.
Yes. All right. Our main events. We have the main eventer of WrestleMania 1, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorf, taking on the Icon, Sting. Sting with the turquoise trunks, with the pink booth, looking like South Beach with the red, white, and blue flags. He had a lot of colors on.
Union Jack in it.
It was a different. It was definitely a different face paint for Sting. Like it was more detailed with the Union Jack on it. Pause. But yeah, Paul Orndorf at this time in 1993 still looking pretty impressive. And throughout this whole match, he kept teasing the pile driver. Kept teasing that pile driver. We don't see the pile driver.
I know. He yoked the shit out of Sting's head with that headlock though. He was like,
"Oh yeah."
I was like, dude, like,
he's ringing
I heard your neck crack, bro. I heard your neck crack.
Well, he only had one good arm at that time. His other
he was starting to lose
arm
it.
was smaller due to muscle atrophy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Sting has some unique offense. Paul Orndorf threw Sting to the corner of the rope. Sting ran up the ropes and just launched himself, like his body right into Paul Orndorf. That was pretty unique. And then while the match taking place, me and Strap was talking, and the match was ending. I rewound the damn match right there. I didn't know to finish the match. I was like, hold on. He was like, it happened to me too. I was like, hold on. So I rewound the whole thing, and Sting with a Stinger Splash, and he wins it with the roll up. Back in this time, if you follow the Nitro podcast with us, Sting doesn't win the match every week with the same move. He wins with a roll up, Stinger Splash. He makes you tap out. Like he finds ways to win the match. He is your version of Bret Hart right now in WCW.
Yep.
Every match is different, and the fans love him. And he's your world heavyweight champion.
But it's just crazy that the main event of the match was over not even 5 seconds, and both guys were standing up looking at each other. It was great.
It's a version of the surprise. It's better than a version of a surprise.
Good job, sir. Good job.
There's an impactful move, and he did a basic wrestling hold, and it worked. So there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem I have with this is that as soon as the bell rung, Sting grabbed his belt and he went right to the back. It's like, dude, house show, hang in the ring, celebrate with the fans. Who's left in the ring? The loser, the heel, Mr. Paul Orndorf. What the hell? Like, all right, fans, go. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for spending your money. Go home happy. Here's this loser heel, Paul Orndorf, just sitting there. Bye, Sting. Got to catch a flight, Sting. It's like, what the hell, man? Stone Cold would be out there. He would be tossing the beers, and he would be interviewing people at ringside. The Rock would be making fun of some fat J-Bone in the third row. That's what you do, not just grab your belt and leave. Like, man, who'd he piss off?
Yeah, he did. He did storm, man.
That's a problem. Never mind the finish of the match. That's what I had a problem with. Just that. Bye, y'all.
See you later.
All right. Well, John, it was an interesting show. I enjoyed it. It was definitely interesting. You got to pay attention to, especially with no commentary. You have to pay attention to the show because you will be rewinding. I did that a few times. Does the show matter for me? Maybe. It matters. It was unique. It's a unique show to see what took place in 1993, especially it being their first show in the UK. The card could have been a little bit better. Where's Arn Anderson? But
Man,
but it was definitely unique. I enjoyed it. Will I watch it again? No, but thank you WWE Vault on YouTube for putting it out there. I hope you all bring some more content because there's some stuff I want to see, like that Collision in Korea. I want to see that show. Put that shit out there. I want to see that. I've been looking for that.
I mean,
hell, I want to see that the new Worlds Collide. I want to see the very first one with the AAA joint back in the day. What Conan was talking about last week on the show. I want to see. Well, that.
Hopefully now that they own AAA, maybe we'll get that now. Maybe. I hope so. Anyway,
I'm still waiting for them to release that old WWC content. The Puerto Rico joint, Carlito Colon's
TNT,
or Carlos Colon's promotion. That's what I'm waiting for.
Mr. Savio Vega.
Savio Vega, Bruiser Brody, all that. So yeah. So all right. So BD Crumpets. Did this show matter to you?
It did, from the context of, like you said, it being WCW's first UK show. It's not lost on me that, of course, they do their first UK show and they have the Bulldog on it because, of course, he did the first WWF show the year prior at Wembley. So now he's back in the UK wrestling twice in 2 years, which I know for him was probably a dream come true because he probably never even thought he'd wrestle in the UK once in his professional career at WWF or WCW, and he does it 2 years back to back. So I know that was probably a dream for him. But again, yeah, it matters because it's the first show. And it gave them something to work off of going forward.
All right. Manchester Strap, what about you?
Well, like I said, yeah, I chose the show. It was fascinated me for some particular reason, and I guess in that fashion it paid off. I like to look things at from what it means to history, a historical point of view, and as I described it last week, just capturing a specific moment in time. Like just watching this, I'm trying to figure out when this show took place because we know the date now is March of '93, but at the time I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, all right, where's my WCW knowledge? Like I said, it's spotty with certain time frames. So it's like, Arn Anderson wasn't here. Like, well, was he back in WCW at this time? What about Ric Flair? Where the hell is Ric Flair? Okay, well, he lost the Loser Leaves Town on Monday Night Raw to Mr. Perfect. That was in January or February. Ooh. Where is it? He should be free now. He quit, right? There's no non-compete, maybe, back in the day. So where's Flair? He should be on his way back. When does he come back? Well, he faces Vader at Starrcade 93, so the end of that year. So when does he come back? Great American Bash? Maybe. I'm not sure. So where's that? Well, Luger, he's just beginning his WrestleMania 9.
Narcissus.
Narcissus. Yeah. So, this was WrestleMania season. WrestleMania hadn't occurred yet, but it was WrestleMania season for the other promotion. So they're fully going all the way with, Brett and Yokozuna with that dastardly Hulk Hogan and the Mega Powers, Mega Maniacs, whatever, going against Money Inc. And here WCW has, Bulldog fresh off being, Intercontinental Champion and Wembley. They've got Sting being a new WCW champion of some kind, Barry Windham being the NWA champion. So, reasonably, arguably, WCW had enough talent to be a competition to the WWF. So that's where it is. That's where it lies. Did they have enough talent at this time? Judging by this house show in Manchester, England, I think they had enough talent. They had they had some fight left in them. Yeah. So, I enjoyed it for that fact alone. It was not. Did it matter? You know what? In some manner, it does matter. So
it does.
So I have a cliff note for you guys real quick. You're asking where Ric Flair was in '93. In February, the stage was set for his comeback. He experienced a huge return, receiving a hero's welcome. Unfortunately, initially he was unable to wrestle due to a no-compete clause, so he took on the role of a talk show host in WCW's short-lived program, A Flair for the Gold. On the show, he interacted with Arn Anderson at the bar while his maid Fifi performed cleaning tasks and presented gifts. He was finally cleared. And defeated Barry Windham at Beach Blast for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, but they ended association in September of '93. It was rebranded to WCW International World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay, all right, there you go. Way to go, BDC. You the man behind strap.
What? You said a flair for the old?
All right, well, good to know. Well, all right, this show, it does matter. If you get a chance, check it out on YouTube. Well, next week is our final show for the month of June. This is my choice. And fellas, it's your call if you want to watch the whole show or if you want to just dim it down a little bit. My choice is I've never seen the show, so I'm looking forward to it. The Great American Bash 2004. Our first match is for the United States Championship. It's a fatal 4-way elimination. We have John Cena, your champion, taking on my man, Booker T. Also, Rene Dupree and Rob Van Dam. Congratulations having a baby with Katie Ford coming soon.
Yep.
All right. That's your first match. Our next match is a singles match. We have Luther Reigns. Not Roman Reigns. Luther Reigns taking on Charlie Haas.
Okay.
And then our next match is for the Cruiserweight Championship. We have Rey Mysterio taking on Chavo Guerrero.
For the 90th time.
That year.
Yes. And guys, this is a SmackDown brand of show.
Yep.
Just let y'all
Figure
know.
that out already.
All right. Our next match, we have Kenzo Suzuki with Hiroko taking on Billy Gunn.
Just Billy Gunn. The man with a million gimmicks. And here he's just wrestling Kenzo Suzuki as Billy Gunn.
And our next match, we have Sable taking on Tori Wilson.
Weird. Here comes the pain.
Our next match, we have Mordecai taking on Hardcore Holly.
Yeah, Mordecai, the guy that was supposed to be like, he was supposed to be the equivalent to the Undertaker. Yeah, right.
Bleached.
Yeah. Our next match is for the WWE Championship. I can't wait to see this match. I know everybody wants to see this match. Can't wait to cover it. It's a Texas Bull Rope match. We have John Bradshaw Lakefield taking on Eddie Guerrero.
A Texas
It's
Bull.
Texas Bull.
It's going to get bloody.
Oh, well, this is peak Eddie at this point. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting.
And then in your main events is a handicap concrete crypt match. And I can't wait to see it. I want to see it in its entirety. It's The Undertaker taking on the Dudley Boys.
Wait a minute.
Bubba Ray and Devon.
Wait a minute. Okay. So this...
Paul Heyman's in...
Paul
Bear's
and yeah, because how that ended. Yeah.
So... my question for y'all, do you want to cover the whole show and, we do the whole thing, or do you want to do a couple matches? My choice, I choose the matches, and then we just, briefly talk about what happened, use your knowledge. What you want to do?
I think anyone with good taste would just choose the three matches.
Exactly.
Potentially.
Right.
No, I mean, do what you will.
Yeah, because, I mean... It's definitely going to be. It's definitely going to be Dudley's and Taker. And that's going to definitely be one. Eddie and Jerry.
Of course. So all right. So we're going to watch. All right. So your homework. Abel, listen. You got the Fatal 4-Way, the opening match. John Cena, Booker T, Rene Dupree, and Rob Van Dam. Check out Rey Mysterio and Chavo.
Wait. So
times.
Added stipulation to the homework. You do you got to do the opening match, the Fatal 4-Way. Bonus points to the guy who does the Rene Dupree dance.
I used to do that. I used to do that shit with SmackDown vs. Raw. That was my shit. That was my shit.
Oh, flying knee.
Yo, the French stickler. That was my guy. All right, so next week we're going to cover the Fatal 4-Way match for the United States Championship. We're going to cover the Cruiserweight title match between Rey Mysterio and Chavo Guerrero. The WWE Championship match is the Texas Bull Rope match between John Bradshaw Layfield and Eddie Guerrero. And, of course, the Handicap Concrete match. And I will fill in the gaps.
Oh, what a benevolent,
4 matches.
A benevolent host.
Works for me.
4 matches.
Yeah.
4 matches, 3 guys. It doesn't matter. Podcast. Yeet.
Oh man.
Concrete. In the street. Beat your meat.
Oh, man.
It don't matter.
Can you still see my
Manchester
browser?
strap. Shut it down, bro. Shut it down.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, people of Earth, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to the It Doesn't Matter podcast, because vidIQ and YouTube have noted to us, thanks for watching 75,000 views for the It Doesn't Matter podcast for over, or currently in 3 years running. A show every single week. If it's not the main show, it's a show. So like, view, subscribe, comment, tell everyone you know. Thanks for watching the It Doesn't Matter podcast, and we will see you next time. Boom.